Hi, everyone. We had a question at the end of our webinar, and that was how to make the open-ended shapes. As you can see here on this PowerPoint slide, this is what open-ended shapes are. That means a shape that has no bottom. It's simply a drawing or a line. Well, I want to take you through the process of being able to make these right inside of Design Space and using the free portion of the shapes to make your own. And it is actually quite easy. I have 3 different ways I want to take you through. So let's get going on it, and I will show you all there is to know about making those shapes. Now here's some that I have put together ahead of time, some of the shapes just from using what is available here. If I click on the shapes button here, you'll notice down at the end they have 3, 4, 5 different shapes that are open-ended. That means you can cut with them. I'm going to show you how to do a lot of these. There are some complicated ways to do it, and there are some easy ways to do it. So let's just get rid of most of the stuff that's here. I'm just going to delete it. I'm just going to leave one on here. And the reason I'm going to leave one is because we are going to take a look at the shapes. I'm just going to put my grid back on and how you can make open-ended ones. Now, the more difficult way to do it is to come over here to the shapes panel and grab a score line and change it from score up here to basic cut. Now we have a nice line that we can use to make an open-ended shape. Now this is more difficult because you're going to take what you have available here and try to string them together and match them up so they would match something like the one we see here. So this is the more difficult way to do it. Now these are all 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. So let's just make this score line, and we're going to change it from 2.5 to 1 inch. Now we have it up and down. I am going to change the rotate here to 90 degrees. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to bring it down here, and we are going to then duplicate this. Just grab it, and I'm going to bring it to the end here, and we are going to rotate it so it's close to the rotation that you see here. Now we know we can fit that rotation. As you can see, you can spend a lot of time trying to simply go ahead and try to retrace things. Now that is the more difficult way to do it. An easy way, obviously, is to have the access pass right here inside of Design Space and then just use what they have available, or go ahead and purchase some of your own. But I have a different way I want you to do it, and this is the easy way, and you are going to love what you see. So I'm just going to delete those 2 lines that we made. Now if we wanted to make one similar to this, we're going to grab that, let's see, it looks similar to this one. Let's grab this shape, and it is 2 inches by 1.732. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. So what I want to do is I'm just going to color this up. I'll make it red, and that's just so we can see it a little easier. I'm just going to grab it down here so we can see it beyond that. So that is red. We're going to leave the dimensions the way they are, but we are going to duplicate it. So I'm holding my Alt key down, got a little plus sign. It's going in behind. I'm going to change that color to a lighter color. And then I'm going to arrange and bring it to the front, and it will go right over top. Now, what we need to do to make a small line is we have to reduce the size of this particular shape by 0.0025. Now I have it all planned out. So what we want to do is just change the width, and you're going to go 1.9975. Now just remember that number. It just becomes a lot easier. That's 1.9975. I'm just going to hit the Enter key here. And I'm going to grab these 2 together. I'm going to come up to a line and then center. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to slice it. And I can pull away the 2 pieces. And now we have the one outline all in behind here. So our next little job, let me get rid of these, we don't need them anymore, is of course I want to cut this in half so I have a piece that looks similar to this. Now in order to do that, I'm going to use my little trick up here. I'm going to more. I'm going to position these at 1 and 1, so they're up into the corner. I'm going to grab a square, and this one is 2 inches wide. It should work perfectly, but let's just make this guy 3 inches, just a little bit bigger. Now what I want to do is I want to cut this one in half, and it is top and bottom. I just want to look at the measurements on this one, and it is 2 inches wide, and it is of course 1.732 in height. So to make this easier on ourselves, I'm going to change this height to 2 inches, and I just want to make sure that our position is still 1 and 1, and it is. Now by making it 2 inches, I make it a lot easier for me to take this and put it halfway through. Now I don't have to be accurate with your measurements here by dragging it. What I'm going to do is the position. I'm going to make this 0.75, and then I am going to make it at the 2 inch mark. That is halfway through this. This is a 2 inch piece. So I'm going to change my Y to 2. And now I have half and half. I'm just going to grab that together, and I'm just going to slice it. I can get rid of the square. I'm going to have quite a few pieces here, so I'm going to just drag this one down. Just grab it over here. It's a little different shape than this original one I put together. And I have another one. So I've got 2 of these, and then I've also got one that comes across the top. So now I have 3 open-ended shapes that I can use for anything. Now that is simply just one of the things that we can do for an open-ended shape. Now I'm going to take a different one, and we're going to do this one. Let's see, let's grab our circle, and our circle is 2 inches by 2 inches, which is great. Let's change that color. And we want to duplicate it. So I'm just going to Alt and drag it apart, change its color now. I'm going to the lighter color. I'm going to bring the lighter color up to the front. Now, remember that number? I'm going to change it once here, 1.9975. Now, it doesn't look like it did anything, but let's just grab this together, and let's come up here to align and center, and then down to slice. I can get rid of the first circle, the second circle, and now we have a circle that is simply an outline. Now I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to move it into position, and this time I want it at 1, tab 1, and it's up into position. Now I need something I can slice it with, and this is where I just grab my little square. I'm going to make this guy 3 inches again because he's easier to work with when he's a little bigger. Now it's positioning here that's going to make the big difference. So X is going to be 0.75, and of course we're going back at 2 for the next one, and look at that, it looks like it's going to cut it right in half. So let me just grab the 2 of them and slice them. I'm going to pull this one away, delete it. Now I'm going to have 3 of these, 1, 2, and 3. So I have made a number of open-ended shapes. Now the ones they have in the list down here, we've got the circle, we've got this part of a, looks like a hexagon. Now we can do the same thing with a rounded rectangle and a square rectangle, and we can do an open-ended one here, which is a triangle. Now the triangle is going to use something that is a little bit different. I'm just going to grab these down out of the way. So let's come up here. Okay, let's come up here to shapes. Let's grab our triangle. Let's make our triangle red, and All I'm going to do with this particular triangle is I'm going to make a duplicate, because a triangle is a different type of shape, and I can do something that is a little bit different with this one. So let me just duplicate it, always duplicating, and I guess I could use the top one, wouldn't make any difference here. Let's grab this one, and I'm going to a lighter color. Now I'm going to move this one back into position here. I am using my positions quite a bit, especially when I do things like this. Now for this one, I want to have it down. I wanted it one on the side, but I wanted it on the other one. So what I can do is I'm just going to bring this one, and it's locked into position. So I can do the same thing, 1.9975. And it reduces the other one. So let's grab those two together. Grab and align. And this time I'm going to center them. Looks good. Grab the two of them. Let's slice them. I grab this one. I grab this one. Now I have a closed shape. The big thing I want to do here is just cut off the bottom piece. So I'm going to grab my square. I'm going to be lazy. I'm just going to move it out, and I'm just going to move it over top of the bottom bar. Grab the two of them and slice it. And now I can get rid of this, and it's going to take the bottom bars out of the way as well. And now I have an open-ended shape. So we've got our hexagon, we've got our half circle, we've got part of our triangle. Now, what other one can we do here? Okay, we have the rounded rectangle, and the process is still the same. So let's just come up here and grab our rounded rectangle, and I am going to make it 2 inches by 2 inches. I love the round numbers. So we've got 2 by 2, and of course I'm going to make this red, and I am going to duplicate it. Hold my Alt key down. There we go. And use the one on the top here. Instead of red, I'm going to make it pink. And let me just grab this pink one. And remember that number, 1.9975. You're going to commit that one to memory. Grab the two of these together, and we'll align center. And then we will slice. Now I'm going to end up here with this again. So now I want to cut it in half as well. Okay, let's grab this. More, 1 and 2, 3. I want a 1 in here. So it's 1 to 1. Now I can cut it off at the 2-inch mark. So let's just bring in another one of these guys. I'm just going to make it a little bigger. So what I want my positioning here to be is, I'm going to 0.75 tab, and I want it at the 2-inch mark. Just having so much fun with this. 0.75 tab, 2.0 tab. There we go. So let's grab the two of those together and let's slice it. All right, so now I have the top part, which I'm going to move over here. And I'll have two bottom pieces. Because of the slice, it becomes a slice out of the black material as well. Now I can get rid of all my round rectangles. All right, now all you need to do is go ahead and come up to your shapes, and you can do the same now with any one of these shapes. Make them open-ended. What if you wanted a curved one? What if you wanted something such as the oval and you wanted to do the same thing? Well, that's not going to be too difficult to do. One more process. We're going to take it through. We're going to duplicate it, and we'll make the front one here now pinkish. Now what I'm going to do is check the size of this, and the size is 2.5 and 1.667. So we don't want 2.5. We want 2. So we're going to make everything based on 2. So let's go to 2 on this one, and then 2 on this one. Should be 2. Okay, 2. They look like they're both 2s here. All right, now the important part is this top one. This 2 now has to change to 1.9975. It keeps doing that. Let's just check it. This is 1.9975. Yep, that looks good. All right, let's grab those 2 together. Align, center, slice. Pull the extra pieces off, and now we have our beautiful little oval. I'm going to get rid of the originals because we don't need them. Now, cutting this in half the way we want it, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the height, leaving it locked, change the height only to 2, and now we can pick off the piece we want. Let's grab another square, and I'm just going to make it a lot wider. Just make it a little bigger here. Now I want to move this piece right here, move it to 1. So 1, a tab, a 1. Okay, it wants to move it. Okay, we've got 1, and then up here we've got 1, and that looks good. It's at 1 and 1. So all I need to do is take the cutting piece here back to the more. So we're going to go 0.75, and here we're going to go 2. And now we're ready to cut this one. So grab the 2 of them. Let's slice it. Pull it away. Now you'll have some larger pieces, but you can size these any which way you want. This just gives you the ability to make cut lines or draw lines that are not a close shape. So it'll just cut that particular line. Now I'm just going to close my shapes, and as you can see, we've created quite a few of them. So I hope you enjoyed this little lesson on making open-ended shapes and have a lot of fun with it in your crafts.